What is going up, everybody? Alright, so we are going to be doing a little stock talk here. The market just closed a little bit ago. Alright, so now we're just kind of going to wait for some members to join. I got to get the link here and then put it in the group chat. Let's just get this link real quick. Let's just go here. Alright, getting that, muting this. Alright, copy. Alright, so everything looks pretty good right now. Alright, so I'm going in on the group or on the trading chat room here, and that will be down below for you guys to join. Everyone live on YouTube Stock Talk. Okay. And there's a link right there. Alrighty. Alright, looks like we are pretty healthy here. So we're going to be talking about some of the stocks that I'm looking at here. We had a lot of potential today. We had Tesla moving like crazy here, up, what is that, 17%, which for a stock is pretty gnarly, for a blue chip stock here. Went from 265, hit a high of $315. So that's really nice to see that. I kind of stayed away from it, but that's just me. If you guys traded this, fantastic. There's a lot of good opportunities here. The stock was a little overbought, fell down. So it might get a little bit of a sell-off tomorrow. That's kind of my prediction here, just because of the RSI. It's tapping those highs, so I think it might kind of start selling off. But for right now, that's pretty good to keep an eye on here. Tesla, like we said. All right, what was the stock that I traded today? I don't even remember. LEVB. All right, let's pull that up. And if you guys have any stocks you guys want me to look at, all you got to do is just leave it in the comments and I will check it out. Alright, so LEVB, this stock was on our gappers, I want to say. Let's pull it back up. How did I? Yeah, so this stock was gapping up a little bit here pre-market. Just seeing what the watch list was here. LEVB, okay. Alright, so this stock right here, it did gap up. It went from around 380 to, what is that, 433. And, in between, stocks in between $3 and $6, those are, the stocks that I tend to make the most money on. So right when the market opened here, I waited, and because I saw these huge sellers stepping in, so I just decided to stay out. And then right when it broke over this, the 20-day and the 9 moving average line, that's when I went long at around 430 area, waited for confirmation, and I was up to the high of 444. And then this big green, or this big red candle right here, as you guys can see, I was, thinking about hopping out of this trade, but right when it really just fell back down, and then got bought up really fast. So, if you're a trader, you want to make sure that, you can really get those. You can. It's just, if the stock is pretty much getting bought back up, you don't worry about it too much. You still have your stops. I set my stops under here just because of the previous support lines here, how it tapped it multiple times, and this is where, the stock would likely have a chance to bounce. So the next, candlestick immediately got bought up, and then bought up, and then, bought up, and then this one was a very, very good sign. When I saw the heavy top, I knew that this stock had a lot of potential here. So I just continued to hold, and that stock moved from, 442 all the way and hit a high of, I believe, 65, but 460. I sold near top at 450 because I sell near whole dollars or half dollars. That's where I like to get in and out of trades, just because a lot of sellers sit there, so I know I can always get a position filled, and I know that acts normally as a very hard support or resistance point. So that's where I hopped out of this trade. It was about a 7.5%, profit. Making new support lines. Yeah, so the support lines that I look for here on these types of stocks, I use the moving average lines as pretty hard supports, because I know that stocks have a tendency to bounce off the 90-day right here. These are moving average lines. So I know a good confirmation. I always wait for confirmation for the gap and go setup. And normally a break over the 9 or 20-day moving average point will get a good confirmation for me to push back up. And I don't normally trade throughout the day like this. I normally take my profits within the first hour. So right when I saw this huge push up, I sold at that $0.50, and then it immediately, fell back down. It was definitely a stock that moves pretty quick, because right when I sold it, this thing went south, and I could have lost a ton of money here, but I always take profits early because I always figure I can hop back in trades. So that's what I always use for support lines, or either these trend lines, or I go through and I look to see if there's any hard support lines. I knew there was some support at around $4 in this area right here, because that's where it taps it multiple times, and when it breaks through this resistant points, it uses previous resistance as new support. So I could have definitely made some money on it. And one thing that I looked at, and I regret taking, or at least trying it, is putting a order here on $4, because as you guys can see, it fell down here to about 401, $4, and this right here is the 200-day moving average line, this big yellow line, and this right here is a very, very hard support line. So I knew that this stock had that momentum to push up, so I should have taken a position here and set my stops below it at around 390. That would have been a 2% risk to a push back up to that high, and that would have been at least probably 17%. So that's about a 7 to 1 or 7 to 2 ratio, which is really, really good for risk to reward. But obviously, another good entry that you guys could have hopped in on here was later throughout the day when it broke over the high of day. The high of day at the time was around 459. So as you guys can see, it hit it here, and it really tried to break over multiple times, but it just needed a little bounce off the 20-day moving average line. As you guys can see, it tapped it twice, got that buying pressure, pushed back up, and then it just kept bouncing off it. I really wish I would have would have bought in, because I know I could have at least held it for a couple hours, to get that push up. All right, so welcome, guys. All right, so this was the main stock that I traded today. It was around $170 profit, which is very, very nice. I took all my profits within the first 15 minutes. That's what I look for here. All right, so another stock that was definitely moving today was NBEV. So let's pull that one up here. All right, so NBEV here. A lot of traders did trade this stock, and they trade it very, very well. If you guys would have bought in pretty much at the market open, you could have made a significant amount of money, but it did start to fall pretty hard right out of the open. So this is kind of what shook me out, and I did not trade it, is when this stock just broke through these two moving average lines. But the thing that looked very good was this beautiful doji right here. And I wish I would have bought in, because dojis are a sign of a reversal, and especially when it was on this 90-day moving average line, you definitely could have got that buying pressure to push back up. But that's fine. And let's see what else. It looks like it did have pretty solid support, like I said, at that 90 moving average line. So tomorrow, let's see what happens. It's pushing up more. I believe pretty soon there should be a sell-off here. You just got to be careful. Always wait for confirmation over those points, or try to get a position on one of these moving average lines, and then it will definitely push up pretty strong here. There's actually a lot of people buying it, for it being after hours. It's actually really surprising. So looking at this, it did bounce off these. That's why I use the 9 moving average line and the the 20 moving average line, just because they do act as very good support and resistance points. But if you look on the RSI down here, it does look a little overbought. So I think we should get some sort of pullback here within the next couple of minutes here. But this thing is ripping up. Look at that. If you guys, I'm not sure if anybody's holding it in the chat or in the trading chat room here, but I know there's multiple people talking about it. So, if you guys are holding that position, you're doing well for right now. Just when the market opens tomorrow, just be cautious. That's the biggest thing. All right, so that one looked pretty good. I wish I would have traded it. I got out of the market really early this morning. I kind of regretted it, but that's okay. I would rather just take my profits right now. I want to get this month. I want to get up, a couple $1,000s within the first week or two. Then I will have some more money where I can enter larger positions, and you guys can definitely make a lot more money that way if you just start off hitting base hits. Don't try to hit home runs. It'll definitely pay off at the end of the month here. So another one that was moving kind of similar to NBEV was IGC. So this one, I did not trade it. It didn't have my setup I like, the gap and go. It took forever to break over those highs. It had a hard resistance. So I saw this, pre-market here, and I said, okay, IGC, if it breaks over, 842, that'll look a lot better. But as you guys can see, it tapped it almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then finally on the 8th time, it boosted all the way up, and it needed a lot of pressure from the 90 moving average line. But let's kind of go into the first about hour and a half of the market open. So pretty much what happened this morning is it started to fall off. pretty heavily, and then just got bought back up, bounced off that 90-day moving average line. That's why I always use them, because I know they act as very hard supports. So it bounced, and this is kind of the time where I was looking at it saying, okay, if it can break over, 850, that will look very, very solid for me, because I like to buy in at whole dollars or half dollars, just because I know they act as support or resistance points. So if it can break over that, I know it will have a harder time breaking through it if the trade goes south. So that's why I didn't hop into this trade out of the open. You could have, if you guys did it really smooth, if you guys know the red to green move, this is a pretty good setup. Stock breaks through both their moving points, hits that 90-day on the first green candlestick. You buy over the break, so you bought in at 780. Let's go to our drawing points. So you buy in at 780, pushes all the way up. You buy on the first pullback, so down here, your position will most likely get filled at 820. So that's about a 5% profit win if you know that red to green move right there. But you could have entered in this trade multiple times. I didn't like how the spreads were really large, and it was a little, there's kind of a crowded trade. Same with MBEV, which that's okay. I just didn't like the way it was looking, especially how today was just pretty much a consolidation day. It did move pretty strong in between. Here, let's get that horizontal line up. So as you guys can see, there was a good price resistance here at around 750, that nice $half mark throughout that day. So it did have that trouble right here, but it broke through it, and then it tapped it, twice, and then pushed back up. So if you guys could have, realized that, I believe that would probably be around a 10 or 11% profit win if you could make a good trade in between here, instead of just buying here and then waiting all the way, to sell it up here. It's just too risky. You always got to be cautious of that. Alrighty, so let's look to see what else we got here for the percent. GBR, I believe that one was on our gap scanner this morning. Let's pull it up. GBR. Alright, so this one I did not trade, and I'll tell you why. So last Monday we had a huge, push all the way up from 232 to almost 320, and then it just started selling off like crazy. It sold off through the pre-market and then got bought back up. You could have maybe done a little reversal play on it, just because of all the buying pressure going down. But as a stock moves this much, I always just sit back, and I just didn't like out of the open here how it did have these 90-day and I believe that's 200-day moving average line. It had to break through those, and it did break through them, but then immediately got slammed back down. So, and it was very lightly traded, as you guys can see, just lightly traded. Did not like that. So if you guys have any stocks you guys want me to look at, just shoot them in the comments here, and I'll pull them up for us to talk about. All right, next one here, NEPT. Looks like I previously traded this one in the past, because I do have some support and resistance points here already up on it. And as you guys can see, those resistance points still, are in play, because I don't know when that was. Let's just go 20-day. Must have been within the past 20 days. Alright, so this was about maybe 10 days ago here. Did have a pretty hard resistance all the way up through here. So I think tomorrow we should get a sell-off on this, just because of how history tends to repeat itself. And so when the stock pushes all the way up it most likely will get slammed back down. You just gotta be cautious. And this stock didn't get a lot of volume till, I don't know what time that would be, probably around noon. And then I wonder if this thing released news. Hold on. Let's see. I'll pull up Market Watch on this screen here, because normally when a stock, doesn't move too much, they release some type of news here. So let's pull it up. I'm just curious here. All right, so all right, so NEPT. Alrighty, just missed a phone call. All right, so this one's only up, it says it's only up. What the world? All right, so let's see what happened here today. So after hours, it's still moving up. No really news on it. Oh, right here. Okay. All right. So, no news. I wonder if it just caught momentum and moved all the way up. So this is what I'm looking at. If you guys are wondering here, I'm just looking at to see if there's any news on it. As you guys can see, it pretty much was just consolidating throughout the entire day, and then pretty much went from $4 to $4.51. So a 50% move within probably 2 or 3 minutes. I'm surprised it did not. I wonder if this thing got halted. It should have. Yeah, so we're just looking for some news on this thing, but it looks like there isn't any. Yeah, it's actually very surprising. So if you guys caught that momentum, you guys definitely could have paid out, because it's almost all the way up a full dollar, So that's pretty nice here. All right, so let's see. It looks like my stream health's not the best here, but yeah. All right, so let's see what else we got. All right, and then we talked about Tesla. This is going to be the last stock we talk about today, unless you guys shoot me any stocks in the comments here. So, as you guys can see, Tesla is a stock that I previously talked about in later videos multiple times. They pretty much, Elon Musk had to resign as chairman. I believe he's still the CEO, but he also had to pay $20 million as some type of fee here. But he just released something that said he's on the verge of becoming profitable. If you guys don't know, Tesla is not a profitable company, and they're going to be very, very, very soon. So that's why I believe we had this push up, and then pretty much it just consolidated the rest of the day. It did have nice little spreads in between, $311 and about $300. So you could have made some good trades off it, especially later in the day through here. Once you realize there is some nice support, around $303, you could have definitely made a play and pushed it all the way up to, $310. But, I missed it. Like I said, I hopped out of the market early today. All right, so that's it, though. I hope you guys enjoyed this little stock talk here. I'm going to start doing these more often. If you guys aren't a part of the trading team, we are, pretty good entrepreneur type atmosphere. It's pretty fun. So if you guys like this video, please sure to like, subscribe if you're new, join the trading team. All right, take care, everybody, and I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Remember to always stay happy, stay positive, and peace out. Thank you.